Yes, and welcome back, chat, episode something. 32, I think.
It is 32.
Ooh,
32, last of 22. It's 2021, my God.
Episode 32, next is 22. Is that the
that's
tagline?
it. That's what I meant.
It's been a big year, man. It's been pretty good.
Yep.
That's to summarise the tagline of our year. It's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Had
its moments.
It's been fun.
You're talking as if it's ending, like, BackChat's ending. It's not.
No, it's not.
It's only just begun.
It only just begun. Yeah, here we are, BackChat. Last episode of 2021. That's what's ending. The year's ending. It's been a fun little climax towards the end, getting some good guests on.
Yeah.
We've got some big ones planned for you next year. It's going to be fun. Appreciate those that are joining us on YouTube. Go on, get on there.
Yeah, smash that
click it,
button.
Subscribe it. Like,
yes, please.
Again, like, we know how many people are listening to this. We know exactly how many. And we love you. And it's
we have your IP address. We have your address.
No, we don't know anything else other than we know how many people are listening. I need you all to just go and subscribe to YouTube right now. All right? We'll give you time. We'll give you 5 seconds right now. I'm going to stop talking. Just give me silence. And it's got, if you don't want to subscribe, we already have, maybe use that 5 seconds to breathe.
Yeah, I'll get over some music for the 5 seconds. Does it start now? I got nothing.
I love how you can't sit in silence. You have to keep speaking just there.
Happen.
There it is. Subscribe to YouTube. Well done.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Now,
we had our Christmas party.
Yeah, there's been a few things going on.
Yeah, we had our BackChat Christmas party last week.
All were invited, so big fans of the podcast and the show will realise that we've had, you and I have been here every week. Charlie, big part of the show to start off with.
Yep.
Big inclusion.
Fizzled out a bit for a bit.
He went on some sort of hot dad session. I don't know what he was doing up there.
I think it was a retreat.
It was sort of like Survivor combined with Farmer Wants a Wife combined with The Bachelor, I believe.
Combined with Big Brother.
He's back. Charlie's back. So
in a big way.
Charlie was at the Christmas party. Sammy, our new addition, he was not.
Was too busy.
Driving his Tesla around.
Yeah.
We will discuss that. That's what did come out of the Christmas party. We effectively built an entire episode where we will not need a guest. I found out a few things on the Christmas party that are worth sharing.
Yeah.
That's just a little teaser. I can't get into them right now.
Of course.
We didn't have any moments sort of like your moment at Crown the week before where you were spotted in a crowd full of 20 to 30,000 people at the F1, which is relevant now.
It is.
As we'll be chatting to Kym Illman later in the show, the world's best, greatest F1 photographer of all time, or it may or may not be that. It could just be a good one.
Good at the moment.
Yep.
Very good.
So we'll speak to Kym a little later. I know he's got a cool story.
He literally travels around the world taking photos at the F1.
No, that's not our footy thing, but we're kind of interviewing different people now. Yeah. It'll be an interesting chat. We're going to look forward to that. But yeah, we didn't have any celebrity moments.
No.
Like you did at the Crown. Because you are a big time celebrity now.
Yeah, huge.
Recognisable.
I need a PA. It's getting too much. The only moment that we did sort of have from the Christmas party was more for me that I had a slight COVID scare and got a test. Because we were out in Northbridge.
Yeah.
Not at any of the hotspots, but then I started getting a bit sick.
Well, we were pretty close to a hotspot.
Very close to two, I think. We're very close to two.
We were at a venue that was a hotspot the night before.
Yes.
So maybe, I don't think it'll be a hotspot. Anyway, you got tested. So.
Yeah, I got tested.
How was that experience?
Negative. It sucks. You've done many of them. First one I've ever done. I can still, when I talk about it, I feel the tingle on my nose. It's horrible.
A shocking experience. It's not fun whatsoever. No. You missed Christmas morning because of it.
Yeah. FaceTime.
Not ideal.
For Christmas morning.
Yeah, not ideal. But we're still here.
Yep.
Look, it was a big moment in the podcast for a few reasons. The Ashes was, of course, finished up this week.
Yeah.
Australia win 3-0. There's a couple of games to go, but it's over.
Yeah.
It's fucking
We've retained the Ashes.
It is over. And you know what else is over? Me hearing anything to do with how good your 5 for 16 was, mate, because you can piss that straight into the wind. Because Scott Boland, and yes, his last name is Bowland.
Yep.
Wowee. Does that blow your mind? It blew mine. Bowland. He's taken 6 for 7 on debut in a Boxing Day Ashes test as a Victorian. I'm sorry, mate.
not bad.
It doesn't go. No. It completely ruins you. That's what it does.
Well, look, technically his sort of is a final. The Ashes are a finals of sort. That English team, like I could probably get up there with my figs, but you know what? I have talked about it for a while, but we are this trophy that sits in front of me proudly with 5 for 16 that I got in a final under 12s Chewett Hill Lions Club. It's gone. We're going to retire my cricket career, I guess.
Sorry?
Yeah, I think it's time that I think people know about it. I'm sure people will be screaming, no, we love hearing about it. Tell us more. But it's done. I think we're finishing.
Maybe what we could do,
that saga.
we get a cabinet and we put it in the trophy cabinet.
Okay.
And we have it behind us as a memory that will always live
Memento.
on. But we're retiring it. I think after Kym Illman's, I think we should tell Kym about it.
Yep.
The last of 2021.
Yep.
And then it's done.
Can I just pour one out for there's a bit of
Just don't put it on the recording equipment, but yeah. There you go. Pour a little liquor out for Dan's 5 for 16. If you're on socials, sharing the pain. Sharing
pour
Dan's
out for
pain.
5 for 16.
All right, we want
Or just pour out 5-16.
All right, so we want to pour out for 5
Yeah.
16 on
Stone Cold
socials.
Steve Austin has
All right.
John 3:16 or whatever, and he's Stone Cold 3:16.
All right.
We're going pour 5:16.
All right, I want to clog socials with this.
Okay.
Pour it out. Pour Dan. Oh, pour it out. Pour Dan. P-O-O. Oh, my God. There's so many play on words. Now, you haven't spoken about something that you said you wouldn't forget to speak about. I tried to prompt you into saying it before, but you didn't. Still trying to prompt you into say it now.
The WNBL?
Absolutely not. I couldn't care less about the WNBL. The WNBL. Please tell me about that, Dan.
Okay.
So interesting.
It's not so much about the WNBL, but it's about cheating in sport.
Okay.
And you know me, I love to play by the rules.
I'm interested in chatting about sport.
Yes.
I really couldn't care less about the WNBL.
It's good.
No, it's not. No. This is not the. You know this. We know where this isn't. We don't have to be equal and everyone, but it's not up to par.
Okay, so what happened was
no crowds. It's not up to par.
What happened was a team filmed their training videos because they wanted to sort of watch tape back and get prepared for the first game. This is the Sydney Flames. They wanted to watch back. Who's coach? Shane Heal is coach.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Boomer. Yeah.
Yep.
So they film their practice scrimmages. The referees come along and they say, we'd like, the Referees Association or whatever go, hey, we'd like to have that tape so that we could share it for training with the referees because COVID's been happening. They haven't been able to umpire or referee as much. He said originally, no, I don't want anyone to see this footage. They sort of said, please, let's see it. They came to an agreement. Then what happened was Sydney played the Canberra Capitals, coached by Paul Goris. You don't know that name. The referees submitted the footage to the Canberra Capitals so they could watch their game tape previous to playing with them. So they got to know all their players. They got to know exactly what they're doing. So it'd be like, remember that happened in AFL, right? There was a little handy cam. Was Sheedy involved in that? A handy cam? They were filming practice.
Please keep going. But
so then that's been given to the coach, and then that first game in the season, all the players knew their players. They were calling them out before it happened.
No, who won the game?
Capitals.
Right.
And
are they a better team though?
Well,
there's just no amount of footage that you could get from training that would give you an advantage like that.
100%. They know exactly what they're going to do in plays.
Oh, basketball. Get the ball, drive to the basket, put it in the ring. Oh, yeah, no.
Let's go for someone who doesn't know basketball. So
Seriously,
anyways,
mate.
but the thing for me, the biggest thing is Paul Goris, who's the coach of Canberra Capitals. Got a story about him. Yeah. I went into the locker room after a game when I was working for the Perth Lynx. And part of my role was to say to the coach, hey, we're ready for the press conference. Could you come with me? I'll take you through. He went nuts to me, told me to get out of the room. Part of my just job is to, get everyone together for the press conference. And he yelled, he's an awful, he always treated me awfully. And so to see him get suspended, I'm not.
That's what coaches do, man. They yell at people.
Nah, I've worked with a lot of them. Most of them are great.
Okay. Not
that
him.
I worked with. Okay. He was awful.
And he's a cheater, apparently. He's a cheater.
He got suspended 4 weeks.
And the umpire got
1 season suspended.
Wow.
There you go. So a bit of controversy in the WNBL, which I
just find I just find it strange that they're cheating at WNBL level. Like you don't hear. Well, I guess you don't hear about it at many other levels.
But if this was to happen in another sport, AFL, for instance, it'd make some big news.
Oh, well, that's the thing, mate. Like, if another team bought a camera, which they could down to West Coast training facilities, it's a huge open area. Like, you could get a camera and film the whole of West Coast training.
Yeah.
Right? What are you gonna? How much are you gonna learn? I disagree. I disagree with you wholeheartedly. What are they gonna learn from a training video that they couldn't learn from a game video?
Because it's the first game of the season. They don't know anything about their plays or anything.
They're completely different team. They're completely different.
What do you mean?
What's the last game they played the year before?
No, they're all new. They had like 9 out of 12 new players, new coach. This was like their opportunity.
Oh, so it was a scouting report.
Yeah, without.
So how's that any different to like round 1 happening and then they just?
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, round 1 because that's game that's available. This is secret footage that was then leaked to someone.
Look, I understand the morality behind it, but all I'm trying to say is that's not giving you anything, mate. Like, you aren't learning much. No, you're not. You're really not. You're not learning that much. There's only okay. You learn the names of the players. You know one's tall, one's small. One's good on the left, one's good on the right. But no, the game's too quick to be like the players themselves wouldn't be like. Oh, like
what if I said to you, if we say 3 or red, then that means Will's going to shoot a 3 on this play, and they go, oh, they've called red, that means Will's going to shoot, and we know to guard him closer. Okay,
sure. So won't that leave someone else open? Like, it's basketball, man. Just pass it around.
Not if you're like doing everything in your.
I understand what plays are. I understand. Just like, trust me, I know what they are.
Sport.
Yeah, I understand all of that.
They tell players go in certain spots.
There's just like, okay, so you know the play, great. So just change the play, or like what are they like? It's not NFL like where they call the play.
They do.
Like,
they call the plays.
Yeah. But like, so change the play. Like, you're not good at
call an audible.
Yeah, that'd be right, mate. Like, or like, instead of calling it red play, call it green. They know what we're doing.
Not when you don't know that someone knows.
I just think seriously. Yeah. I mean, I think.
You don't mind cheating in sport. That's what that comes down to.
Well, that's what you're going to take out of it. I like winning. I like winning.
We've got new social handles.
Do we?
You've been, I know BackChat.
We got a new Twitter handle.
Yes.
BackChat_tweets. And I plan on changing BackChats to something that I'm not going to reveal right now because I reckon that there'll be a little mother such and such that will try and steal it.
Snake it.
But we're kind of changing it all. We're just going to be calling ourselves BackChat these days.
Yep.
I think the 2.0 can go out the window. I'm sick of looking after everyone else. We're BackChat.
Yep.
You know we're BackChat. You know we're BackChat on YouTube. You know we're BackChat on the podcast. We're BackChat. That's what we do now.
On BackChat is you send it, we read it.
Yeah, that's correct. You've missed the only thing that you told me you wouldn't forget to talk about.
Yeah, sorry.
You stupid idiot. I've been trying to like how much do you want me to give you? It just looks stupid. No, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
but what are you thinking about? What's happening in your brain? Are you there?
I know you really want to talk about the fact that you're in the paper.
There you go. There you go, mate. There you go. You want a bit more of a lead-in? You want a bit more of a lead-in?
All right, mate. Tell us that you were in the paper.
Like, how dumb do you want to get? You're stupid.
No, one thing that came up at the Christmas party, you showed me a picture that doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. The fact that you were in a celebrity, what is it, like a little lift out of the West Australian paper?
Yeah, celebrity babies.
Celebrity babies.
Yeah. You
had a baby 10 months ago.
Yeah.
But they've decided now's the time to announce.
Yeah, baby and celebrity. Both of those things.
So who else was on that page?
I mean, you're missing the strange part about it. I'm not sure why I'm actually telling this story. This is actually what you're meant to be doing. The fucking thing is, Cardi B is on the fucking celebrity babies. What's happening right now? Cardi B.
Yep.
Who else?
I can't remember.
Oh,
were they notable people?
Mate, you suck so much. Bindi Irwin.
Bindi Irwin, that's right.
There you go.
The Schofields.
Cardi
B was
Good God.
Was Brittany.
You know what else we do? You send it, we read it. Thanks for touching on that for us, Dan. Really good, mate.
I'm gonna need you to show me that photo again with all the celebrities on there.
Oh, don't show me. I won't forget. How many times do you want me to lead you into that? Fucking hell.
We're going to put stuff in the document. All right, you send it.
I got to put stuff in the document. I fucking told you.
You send it. We read it. Let's have a look. All right.
No. You're done. You're done. You don't get to see it. You want to see it? It was on our story.
We've got a big one today because we've got a you call it, we speak it.
Which is exciting stuff.
Huge.
If you want to be involved in that.
Yeah.
You want to give us your number. You want to give Dan your number. Good luck to you.
Or no, it's a BackChat. It's not my phone that sends the preview text.
Definitely
it's just
not
the back
Dan.
chat.
Okay,
so it's not me.
It's definitely not hot in here either. I'm sweating.
It's so warm. All right, this is from. You tell me who it's from, and I'm going to read out the email.
Oh, the email? You send it, you read it. Russell Thomas.
Yep.
Thanks, Russ.
Lads, loving the pod, particularly the insights you get from people no longer muted by an AFL club. Dan Venables and Masto Epps were awesome. Both players, particularly Masto, were much maligned throughout their careers, but I feel like after the in-depth chats you had provided a perspective that the Gen Pop don't have, which ultimately gives them the respect they deserve outside the club's four walls.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Interested in your thoughts about players not being able to speak this openly about their role and internal praise while still on a club's list. Also, Dan, big props to you. Doesn't matter. Big props to me anyways. But
also, Dan, big props to you on the Masto app. Your questions were pointed and brought a great angle of the discussion.
yeah,
I agree. I do
still
agree.
waiting for signed pics of you two, of us two, which we need to...
Yeah, we actually do. We took the photos.
Yeah,
Sammy took the photos.
Yeah.
Print them out.
All right, and we'll sign them.
Great question, Russell, and great point. I agree with you. I've been enjoying interviewing past players. Look, when we started going down this route of getting guests in, I thought, I'll just get all current players. Like, what great insight we'll get from guys that are playing the game right now. Honestly, it's been difficult, and I kind of quickly forgot how protective, not only West Coast, because I know guys at other clubs. We were extremely lucky to have Tom Hawkins on the show a few weeks back.
Yep.
Guys that are in the system they're never going to bite the hand that feeds them. We are not in America. We are not in a state where players can openly speak about how they feel about, one, their role, two, the club, three, the AFL, because they're going to get ripped to shreds because of it. They're going to be in a position where it puts their livelihoods at risk, and they're just not going to do it. So it's a little disappointing, but I guess it's pretty obvious, and I probably should have felt that in the first place. So interviewing guys that are out of the game has been more interesting because, as you say, guys like Venables, Masto, there's a whole list of people just here in Perth, but all across the AFL are much maligned because all you see of them is on the field and you form an impression, and then what you see in the media isn't real. Like, it's just not real because you can never speak your mind. You can never truly speak your mind. I went pretty close to it as a player because I felt like I'd been doing media enough to be experienced enough to give some honesty and give something to the fans. But
know the line.
Yeah, whereas a lot of guys don't have that. And so they don't have that, and so they don't want to even go anywhere close to it. So you get them into an interview situation and you don't get a lot out of them. I mean, you remember a little while back we had Oscar Allen on. He did pretty well. For a young guy, he gave us a fair bit, but they're always going to put the club first. And again, it's not just West Coast. It is all players. And yeah, I don't love it. It'd be great to speak to more guys in the game right now, be able to give you proper insight. But the fact of the matter is the clubs are too protective. Like the clubs don't want controversy for starters.
The players are assets.
They don't want people creating a stir. Like what we're told in media training is don't get like on the back page of the paper when you do an interview.
Yep.
And a lot of stuff we talk about on this podcast probably would get you on the back page of the paper if anyone at the paper was listening. It's not that hard. I tell you what, Perth and any other media outlets, you just have to tune into BackChat podcast and we give you some gold nuggets. But great little email there from Russell, and we'll keep them coming to you. We've got some big, I would say relatively big name past players coming up. Huge. Dan says huge. This one's from Pippa.
Dan and Will, just listened to your episode with Chris Marston. Seriously, cannot believe that players piss on the ground in the huddle. I never knew that was a thing. If you didn't know about that, go back, listen to Masso talking about having a wee on the field.
On our YouTube channel.
There's a YouTube channel. It's got the clip there. You can watch it.
Find us, subscribe to YouTube. That's what we're talking about. We've got little daily releases coming out, so you'll find plenty there. If you would like daily updates and daily clips, you don't want to sit down and watch the whole hour show, we'll give you the best parts.
All the nugs.
We'll give you the best parts.
Pippa says, pretty sure that never happened in any matches that they played in any sports, footy not being one of them. I couldn't imagine having a wee on the netball court if that's what you play, Pippa. It'd be slightly dangerous. Anyway, have a good Christmas with your families, and thanks for keeping the pod going.
Yeah.
And we will keep it going.
Appreciate that from Pippa, because we have done this over Christmas. Been a little bit difficult. Been in and out of guests, and
bad things.
We've done our thing. Look, I agree with Pippa. It seems strange. I'm telling you, it happens. It's happening right now.
A lot of people were commenting saying that players have been fined in the past. being caught doing it?
That's getting caught. You wouldn't see it unless I told you. Unless you're listening to BackChat, you don't know what to look for because all it looks like I know what happens, right? And when I'm sitting on the sidelines, I've done that a lot. I look sometimes and say, I'll see which boys are doing a little wee. You can't really see it because there's a ring of players in a tight knit group, and there's guys in the middle doing hip flexes.
Yeah,
you can't see it unless you got a little trained eye. So you have a look next year. You tell me I'm wrong. Happy to be told I'm wrong, but I'm not. But tell me, it's fine. Daniel Marsh writes in. Hi, Dan.
Hey lads, you know me. Inaugural You Send It, We Speak It guest. We've got one of those coming up. Watching the NRL boxing fight night and was pondering why no AFL, union or soccer athletes get involved. Barry Hall is the exception. Who in the AFL could throw them? And how's Dan's form in the ring? Being an all-round athlete, of course, 5 for 16, which we did say we'll retire from today onwards. Surely this is an opportunity for a challenge. You and I in a ring, chuck the gloves on.
What would you actually do in a fight, do you think? Like, what would happen? What would you...
You'd have to. I'd have to. There's no other options.
What are we talking? Like, how dirty?
I don't know. I'd do like a spinning back heel or something.
I would love to see you do a spinning back heel from inside the ring with you as you spin getting smashed to the ground.
Who in the AFL could throw them?
Oh, look, I don't know about other clubs. Andrew Embley, Daniel Chick had a pretty highly publicised little boxing go. Josh Hill used to be pretty good, ex-West Coast player, Indigenous lad that was playing with us. He could box.
Who would you want to get in the ring with that you've played with?
Like Shannon Hearn got bricks for a body.
He's like, you hit him in the face, he probably wouldn't
He's
flinch.
not a boxer. He's not going to sit in there and spar with you, but like he's just big. Yeah. Daniel Kerr, very good boxer. There you go. Yeah, Daniel Kerr. Be staying well away from Curry.
All right.
I believe he's getting locked up, so it's probably going to be easier said than done, as well as done.
Right.
Yep, he's going to jail. James Knowles.
Hi, Dan. Charlie, if he's still around, and Will.
He is. Charlie is, he's back from his little bachelor session down in Bunbury. He'll be back.
I had a thought about your headshots that keep popping up in your social media posts. Will was pictured holding the Premiership Cup, whilst Dan is clearly using his LinkedIn profile picture. One thing about me, I don't really enjoy getting photos taken. So there's not many of them of me just posing for a photo. So there's not many around. So yes, I think that one photo of me that was decent, I've put on everything, LinkedIn, etc. Yeah. Now because
happy with that, yeah.
Whatever. Yep. It's something. Now Will's image uses his biggest sporting achievement. Is there any chance Dan's photo could be updated to show his biggest sporting achievement? We all remember where we were that now infamous day, 5 for 12 in under 12s. Wow.
Tell us where you were on that day, 5 for 12. I want to see your social media get clogged with this. Dan's retiring it. 2021's over. Yep. Boland's taken 6 for 7. Dan's
4 for 5, 6,
Dan's 5 for... It keeps getting it changed. It's definitely not 5 for 12. It was 5 for 14. Tell us where you were that day. Tell us how sad you are that Dan's retiring the number. I'd love to know. Put it on social media.
Keep up good work. Feel very special to be included in the biggest media segment in the country. You send it, we read it. It's all
look,
class.
It's growing.
Well done.
It's growing.
Well done, James.
Jimmy, I'm going to call you Jimmy. Jimmy Knowles.
Jimmy K.
JK.
All right.
What was the question? Oh, yeah. Sort your photo out, man.
Okay. All right, Will.
Ridiculous.
Okay.
It's from like 2006, I reckon.
No, not that old.
All right, Chris Butler. We got a few this week.
Boys, love the show. I'm an OG BackChat listener.
Oh, yes.
Will being my all-time favourite footballer next to Benny Cousins. Have both signatures on the same jumper, life goal complete. Whilst taking 5 wickets in a game is very important, not as important as a regular health check, I, at the ripe old age of 33, with 2 young girls, have been diagnosed with bowel cancer. Yes, this sucks, but as my wife says, this ain't a pity party.
Wow.
Boys, as you have a wide audience range, I'm asking if you can get it on the show for people to go get a checkup. If you have found a lump, or you aren't feeling great, or you just don't know when the last time was you saw your GP was, like Ben Brown wouldn't know when he last kicked a goal on Scully, go get a checkup. Love you guys. Thank you, Scully. Watching you from the 3rd tier of the MCG, giving Degoe a bath on grand final day is my greatest sporting achievement just by being there.
Okay, Chris. This has got so many aspects that I absolutely fucking love. 1, you're an OG listener. 2, you're trusting us with some pretty private information there, mate. And when I read this last week, because you sent this pretty early on, I felt pretty privileged to get an email like that. Like this is someone who's 33 years old. Chris is 33 years old, 2 young girls, so 2 kids. We've both got 2 kids.
Yep.
And he's been diagnosed with bowel cancer. So I don't know the ins and outs of bowel cancer. I don't know how serious that can get, but I assume very serious.
Yeah.
So we did want to talk about this and just raise awareness. Do go and get yourself checked. Go to your GP. I've got a very good mate that's been through multiple battles with testicular cancer. Same thing. All he speaks about is go and get checked. It might seem like a thing that, you don't have to do, or you're young, or, these guys are early 30s, even younger than that. It's not that hard. Go and get checked. And Chris, we love you. Good luck with the battle, mate. And keep us up to date, because we'll keep in touch. That'll be good. Yeah,
definitely keep us up to date. Now, this next one we have.
Yes. You call it, we bloody speak it.
You call it, we speak it.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to need you to chuck the cans on.
All right, cans.
Because this comes through our little system here.
All right. We can do that.
So let's just, I'm just going to get the call happening.
All right.
Let's go audio.
I'm going to read this as you're doing that. After a little deliberation, I've decided to take you up on your offer. I was worried I'd be a bit of a stunned mullet, but hopefully I'll be fine. I'm working on a farm for harvest at the moment, so I spend many hours alone in my tractor, which I spend listening to BackChat 2.0, which is very well spent, I'm sure. Hopefully the harvest is getting harvest. I don't know what happens out there.
Due to temporary service difficulties, we are unable to connect your call at this time.
Oh no, Liv, come on, Liv. Is that your fault?
No.
Okay.
I've got Connect here.
Right.
She did say she's out on harvester.
All right.
Maybe
we'll give her one
coverage.
more try.
Should we just give her a try?
Right.
Anything else you want to pick out of that email?
I would appreciate a phone call and the company of your lovely gents to while away some time.
All right, we're going to go. This is, here you go.
This is going.
Due to temporary service difficulties.
Liv, look, we love you. We love you like we love Chris, but we don't love the reception you're getting. You're going to have to let us know who your little provider is out there, and we might get onto them. Might send Dan onto your case. No, we won't. We're not doing that.
I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. But that's the beauty of live.
Yeah.
Well, we're not live.
I've been talking about live. I think this is worth just like mentioning to our fans. I don't think this should be a secret any longer.
Yeah, no.
You happy with this?
Yeah, of course.
We're planning on going live. We're going live on YouTube in about 3 weeks.
Yep.
It's going to be a pretty similar sort of structure. We're going to be doing our thing like usual. You can still tune in after the fact and watch us on video, consume us on YouTube as you usually do. You can hang on a second. Hello, Liv.
Oh. Hang on. No. Just...
This is live, coming to you live out of the Mount Hawthorn bunker that we know as the BackChat studio.
I think it's there now.
Hello, Liv.
How are you guys?
Hey, we thought we're gonna have to take up issue with your mobile provider. Who are you with, by the way, Liv?
At the moment, I'm with Telstra.
Oh, wow. Well, okay, they're the best in the business, aren't they? They've got coverage all over the place. Whereabouts are you, Liv? Thanks for letting us, you send it, we call it. Is that what we're calling it?
I don't know. Whatever it is.
Something like that.
Where are you in Australia right now?
I'm in Esperance, Western Australia.
Wow, Esperance. And you spend...
I wish I was in Esperance right now.
Yeah, so do I. It's so bloody hot. And you tell us you're spending your time harvesting at the moment out in the tractors. Tell me what that involves, because I have no idea.
Yeah, it's been good. The farm I'm at has finished harvesting at the moment now, but it's been really good. I've been carting grain in the chaser bin, and we've had the headers go and they harvest and put the grain in the silos, and then the trucks come and take it.
So you're harvesting wheat?
Wheat, barley, canola, and beans.
Oh, how's the canola looking at the moment?
Oh.
Very good canola time at the moment.
Yeah, I know. It's $1 a kilo at the moment,
Huge.
which is really, really good.
Here, you heard it here first. $1 a kilo for canola.
Not here first. It's been a big story all year how canola's gone nuts.
We're not on the ABC, Dan. This is BackChat 2.0. Now, Liv, tell us how long you've been listening to BackChat, and follow that up with, it's coming towards the end of 2021. What's been your favourite part about this year on the podcast?
Well, I've been listening to BackChat. I tried to get a hold of some of your older ones because I didn't really know about it then.
Okay.
Back in, 2017, 16 when you did it.
Yeah.
I listened to your one with Daniel Ricciardo with Bucky.
Yes.
That was good. But then, last year and this year I've been listening to every single episode.
Okay.
I've really been loving it.
You
sorry?
Go. Yeah, you go. Favorite part this year? Who's the best guest that we've had on?
Oh, it's hard. You've had some absolutely incredible guests.
Dan Const.
I love having Oscar Allen on.
Oscar Allen.
Big O.
Yeah. And Peter Bowl was great as well.
Yeah. Peter Bowl was good.
Yeah, and you can go back and watch all of these. I know I'm talking to the converted here, Liv, because you have, but you can go back and watch all of these on YouTube, and you can see them in the flesh.
Liv, this is your chance. This is your chance. This is where we give you the opportunity. Here's your mic. Here's your opportunity. You got questions for us. You want to say something to the world? Here it is. The mic is yours. Go for it, Liv.
Well, I was thinking, seeing as we can't travel at all, why not talk about it?
Yes.
What's some of the best places that you guys have travelled, and places where you've had like really big learning experiences and stuff?
Well, that's good. You've travelled a lot, Dan. So have I.
Fair, a little bit here and there.
I mean, all I hear about is how you spent time in America for a long time and all the good things you did there. I'll tell you about Austin City Limits.
Yeah, you really love talking about Austin City Limits. We both have gone to a place that not many people have gone to.
Virginia?
Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond.
Not the same
wrong
Richmond,
one.
by the way. No, Richmond, Virginia's good. Esperance is so good.
Yeah.
You've
gone with Esperance.
No, I'm just listing places. Okay. Drove down to Esperance once on my old plates.
I did Oktoberfest Munich one year.
Oh yeah.
That was I learned a few things about myself that trip, and about drinking. I was 19 then, so I learned that I could get through around 10 to 11 liters of beer a day if it was non-preservative, natural kind of things that happen in Oktoberfest, because they brew them especially for Oktoberfest. Austin City Limits is mine. It just such a good lineup, and it was everything you'd want it to be. I spent time with Daniel Ricciardo while I was on Austin City Limits.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, so maybe after speaking with Kym Illman this episode, maybe we should get Dan Ricciardo on the show. Would that be good, Liv?
Oh, that'd be great. I love Daniel Ricciardo. Yeah, he's really nice.
What's your answer to that question, Liv? What's that place for you that you've travelled to?
A huge learning experience was probably I travelled to Niger in Africa on a mission trip.
Whoa.
That was pretty epic. But yeah,
it's a far way to go.
I'm very lucky. Sorry.
That's a far way to go.
We did something similar with West Coast. We went to Johannesburg and gonna forget the other name in South Africa.
Pretoria?
No, not that.
Cape Town?
Yeah, no, not Cape Town. Yeah, can't go with you. Don't know. But good, Liv. Great. Anything else for us before we let you go?
I don't think so. Thanks so much.
That's all right.
Spread the love, be kind, and I hope you had a good Christmas and Happy New Year.
There you go. Spread the love, be kind, Happy Christmas and a Happy New Year. You heard it here first. Liv, thanks for joining the program. You're a legend.
Liv. There we go. That's Liv. You speak it, we call it. I think you call it, we speak it.
I'm hot.
It's very hot
Sweating.
in here. Let's just talk to Kym.
All right, let's have a chat. Big fella, Kym Illman, the best in the business in the F1 photography. Let's have a chat. We are joined and lucky enough to have Kym Illman with us today, Dan. He has just got back from answering his door at quarantine, where he's got his dinner delivered. How's it looking there, Kym? Nice dinner on the way there, mate?
This is not their best effort. They have some stunning meals, but this one, like last week, will stay in the container. I'll probably order a burger from room service or something out there on the street.
Very good. Now, Kym Illman, some people might be asking, I'm sure not all of you, but some people might be asking, who's Kym Illman? Well, Kym, why don't you help us answer that, mate? I came across you not that long ago, to be really honest. Kym, interviewed you on 6PR and thought I'd really love to get into your story a little bit more. What's your history? Where do you come from? I know where you end up, which is F1, the best in the world photographer. But
one of the F1 photographers. Let's just say that.
No, you heard it here first. He is the best in the world, and only we have him. It's an extreme exclusive here on BackChat. Kym, okay, so now you photograph cars, F1. What were you doing? How did you become to do that?
Well, most people would know of me from my messages on hold days of waving hands behind the goals at Eagles matches.
Yes.
And that's a business that I have still got and has run for 33 odd years now. And it runs beautifully without me. So I decided I would go and do a few different things. And about 6 years ago, I decided to go and spend some time in Africa and shoot wildlife. And then I did a wildlife book, which was great. And that was picked up by National Geographic and sold well around the world. And at that point, I was an enthusiastic photographer, not great, but obviously you spend 26 weeks photographing wildlife over a couple of years, you get reasonably good at it. And then I decided I'd had enough of that, and I went to the 2016 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, last race of the year, and I went with Red Bull, and you get down in the garage and you have the headphones on. I was listening to Daniel talk to his engineer, and I thought, this is really great. I'd like to photograph this. So I made inquiries, and initially I just wanted to get accredited for testing in Barcelona in 2017 because I was going back there anyway. And I put a case to F1 and said, look, this is what I think I can do for the sport. I want to do testing for a start. And they said, yeah. I thought, okay, well, that's nice. And then I thought, well, I'll apply for Melbourne because that was the first race, and I got Melbourne. And then I applied for every race that year. I did them all. I ended up working for an agency called Sutton's, which was one of the major agencies. And then I wasn't going to do F1 the next year in 2018. I thought maybe I'll just do a handful of races, so I won't apply with Sutton's again to work with them. And so I just did the first 5 or 6, and I thought, I'll keep going. And I went through the whole year. I think I only missed 2 races. In 2019, I did them all except one. And I just decided that halfway through 2018, I'd get a little bit excited about Instagram, and I went from 4,000 followers then to 285,000 now. And it's been quite a journey. And I've done all years except 2020 because we weren't allowed to go in 2020. All the photographers except for maybe 20 of the major agency guys were allowed in there. So,
Right.
I've done essentially 4 years.
I find it a little bit, well, it's a intriguing story that you go from not really taking photos in effectively 2016 and taking photos of wildlife to 2017, some testing, and then you basically just do every race that you're allowed to do. Could anyone do this? Is this...
No.
I know you have the skills, but have you just rolled in there and just put a few forms together and go, I'll just like to come and take photos, thanks?
Not now.
Right.
Maybe I was in at the right time because Liberty had just taken over and they had a different bent, I guess, than what Bernie had. He was very closed, whereas they're now looking to branch out. Social media is huge for them. Netflix has driven unprecedented demand for tickets and interest in the sport. The drivers are now true superstars, and I've got in at the exact right time, pure fluke, that what I'm doing has resonated with those people out there. And my main audience is 18 to 34s, and I have on social media about 630,000 followers across the 4 platforms, and it's just been phenomenal. The access I get as an F1 photographer, you're totally immersed in the sport. They are 13-hour days, so Thursday through to Sunday. It's at 52 hours of photography, and then there's stuff after you leave the track as well. It's like nothing on earth. I haven't worked this hard since I started Messages on Hold, going back in 1988.
You just flick a couple of those followers and subscribers our way. That'll be fine. Thanks, Kym. That'll be fine.
When you rolled back to when you said I went to that race with Red Bull, how did that? Like, did you just hit up Red Bull and say, "Hey, I'd like to come"?
Well, you pay the money. You pay 10,000 Aussie dollars,
right? And
you go and have their food and booze, and you get the great seats, and you get to go down in the garage. Anyone can do that now.
Sort of like how Tom Cruise just goes and is a part of the McLaren team for the day or whatever, and puts the headset on.
No, Tom doesn't pay any money. Tom gets invited, and as all of the celebrities do. It's funny how those guys end up at the track too. Some are invited by Formula One, some are invited by the circuit, some are invited by teams, and we get normally a heads up on Friday or Saturday with an email saying, here's the celebrities at this race. And you look through, and some races there's no one I know, and then occasionally, oh, David Beckham, great, or Ben Stiller, Usain Bolt, Harrison Ford. Photographed all of those guys.
I want to get into a couple of stories around that, Kym. And I've been thinking, I'm not quite sure how to ask this question, Dan, but we do ask all of our guests on the BackChat podcast, Kym. It's something around this. Look, we know you can do what you do, right? You're one of the best in the world. I'm going to call you the best in the world F1 photographers going round. How do I finish this question?
What's your greatest sporting achievement then, I guess, outside of F1? You could say, you've photographed some of the best races in F1, but that's your job. So you have to give us something that's out of your wheelhouse.
We're a sports-based podcast. What's your greatest sporting achievement that's not on the F1 track?
It can be a under-9s footy game, or it could be anything you want.
Two things. Good. Two things come straight to mind.
Good.
I did win the club comp on a Saturday at Mount Lawley once, which was nice.
Nice.
In C grade, or maybe B grade. And I also was the most improved at Clapham Primary School on the footy team one year. So that's my
yes, most improved. That rivals yours, Dan. 5 for 16 for the Coolbinia somethings.
It's the Chewett Hill Lions, and you did. I played for the Coolbinia Bombers. That was my footy team, and then the Chewett Hill Lions. And I know you're really intrigued by my cricket prowess and career, but I do have a trophy with I had some great stats from a final. That's probably mine. I don't know if it does beat most improved.
Most improved. It's very good, Kym. And I'm glad that was straight off your head. Back on your footy connections, I do remember seeing the messages on hold signs around Subiaco. I played in front of those for a long time.
Yeah.
Do you still have a relationship with the footy club, or has that finished up?
No, that finished in, I can't remember, 4 years ago. It finished the year before you won the premiership.
Well, you've traded some luck there with the luck you've had on the F1 track. Tell us what it's like to photograph F1 cars. I can't imagine it's an easy sport to take photos at. I mean, the objects are moving quite quickly.
Look, anyone can take a photo of an F1 car, but a great photo of an F1 car, that's a completely different story. And when I first started shooting, very green, and I would shoot stuff and think, I'd show it to a couple of great Getty photographers who've been very helpful to me. And all the time they'd say, background, you've got a toilet in the background there, you've got a crane there, you've got a ute over there in the background. And so all the time you've got to be thinking, because the cars are the same every race, the drivers are the same every race, they're out on track, what's the background like? So it all gets back to lighting and background, and that's been my real learning curve, is to not waste time shooting rubbish, because oftentimes I'll spend 5 or 6 minutes at a corner or whatever. I think, what am I wasting my time for here? And then I'll have to go and reposition somewhere else, whereas I'm better off. And tracks that I know, I'll give you an example, Monaco. My best-selling photo is a photo of, well, it's actually two, Daniel and Lando, this year coming out of the Monaco tunnel with the Gulf liveried McLarens. Now, if you get onto prostarpics.com and search Lando Tunnel or Daniel Tunnel, you see these pictures, and they're stunning. I am so thrilled that I managed to pull that off. Now, I'll give you an idea of how you shoot that. There's no spectators anywhere near there, so you have to be accredited. You have to be down on the side of the track. You have to lie down on the pavement, and there's probably a curb of that height, and then you've got about that much room, so you have to lie on the curb or put your leg down in the little bit on the road, and then you have to shoot through a gap that wide in the Armco. And the cars come past you maybe 3 meters away, some a bit closer occasionally, and then you've got to photograph them the moment they come into the sun. So the cars are in full sun, and behind them is the blackness of the tunnel. So it's a very tricky photo to get. It's uncomfortable, and you've got to be shooting them at a high shutter speed because you can't pan with them, because normally you'd pan with the car and you can shoot at maybe a 250th of a second. That way you see that the wheels are moving. But if you're shooting at 1,000th or 5,000th, the car looks like it's parked there. Of course, it's not parked there, and in the rain you see spray flying off it, and sometimes you might see a vapor trail out of the back. But if it's a shot where there's none of those giveaways, people think, oh, hey, it's just parked there, which of course it's not.
Is it dangerous?
Yeah, it's dangerous. A couple of times I've been flicked by stones and it's smarted a little bit. I have actually heard Daniel actually talk about one race. After the race, he was talking to his trainer, I think, and he said, I got hit by a stone in my hand and it killed me the whole race. Because that does happen. And I can tell you that my son, my 18-year-old son at the time, Tyler, was accredited for one race in Monaco, and he and I shot after the first corner. They go up a hill, and the whole 20 cars come up obviously very close together. And I've been warned that as soon as they go past, you have to turn your back because it brings this vortex of dirt and rocks and crap and all sorts. And sure enough, you just get peppered with small stuff on your back because you've turned.
Yeah.
I think it was not the season just gone, but the one before, Grosjean retired from a race because I think it broke his finger. He got hit with something. And I remember watching it, and he said his finger was really sore. And as a spectator, you're like, oh man, he's retiring because his finger's sore. But then it comes out later, he just literally got hit by a rock that hard that it probably, I don't know if it did actual damage to it, but it was that sore that he couldn't keep racing. Because obviously they've got to have, their hands are so important. And if it's hindered at all, then it's dangerous. If they crash or whatever. But yeah, he retired because he got hit by one of these rocks.
It's a very physical sport. And there's a couple of spots, another spot in Monaco, as you go around the swimming pool there, they come very close to the arm cone. Once again, we can shoot through this gap in the fence, and we can get, I guess the car's on the other side of the fence. The fence is about that wide, and then there's us. So sometimes we're 35 centimetres from the wheel.
Wow.
Now, we'll shoot them coming towards us, but I'm never that close to stay there. I always shy away, and I try not to, but I just can't not do it.
Are there many Aussies on the circuit? I know obviously Daniel's the only Australian driver, potential Oscar Piastri and a few other up-and-comers on the way, but is there many Australians involved with the whole body of the F1?
I reckon
Michael Massey.
Yeah, Michael, you've got Kym Illman, who used to train Roman, who now trains Oscar Piastri. You've got Daniel's trainer, Michael Italiano. You've got Blake, who is Daniel's...
Blake Friend.
Yep. His manager. Who else have you got? You've got Luke from Hinser, who does the trainers. He's from Sydney. He won't come back until Australia sorts out this ridiculous quarantine crap.
Yeah.
Who else is there? Is there another one?
So
Josh Cruz.
Only a handful.
It's a handful.
Do you have to? Are you following the same guidelines as the racers would in terms of testing, in terms of quarantine across different countries? Because I'm assuming you'd see different measures across different countries. Are you getting tested the same amount as the racers? Are you in contact with them? How does all that work?
When we roll up at a race this year, we have to be tested within 24 hours of entering the paddock, and we are tested. Well, that's the only test we have to take. We will take one on a Sunday because most of the time we fly on the Monday, and we'll need that to get on a flight. You never hear from them about your test results unless you're positive.
Yeah. And
then you get a call. But yeah, we have our separate bubbles. We're not allowed to go into, for the whole, no, not the whole year. Up until Austin, we weren't allowed in the paddock. So for me to shoot drivers, which is what I tend to focus on, I have to, my T-shirt's starting to wreck. I have to go and shoot them coming into the track. So I used to hang around, we're car park dwellers. And you wait for them to come in, and then you go back to the media centre, and then you go out on track to shoot. So we never had much for those first 2/3 of the season inside the paddock. But then in Austin, we were allowed back, and it completely changed my output and the photos we got. But yeah, we weren't allowed to mix with the drivers technically. We're not allowed to go into the team hospitality suites in the paddock now, whereas in the past we'd eat with them and everything. And then in the media centre, that's probably half the number of people they could normally fit. And last year, I understand it was a quarter. So it's been very bizarre. But I think it's been a good year for me because there's been very few photographers that do every race. It might be 14 of us that have done every race. I'm one of 14 in the world. And it's allowed me to build this quite massive social media audience that has led me to be able to fund a lot of what I do.
You've got a bit of journalism in your background before Message on Hold, and you would have dealt with camera operators and stuff like that at the time. That can be a pretty feisty time, trying to get the best shot, trying to get the best angle. What happens on in the paddock? Does it get a bit? Are you getting your shoulders, or your elbows out, and you're fighting for positions, or is it pretty friendly?
Well, I remember once when Lewis won the championship and they hoisted him up on their shoulders. I think it was either Mexico or US. I can't remember which race. I'm guessing Mexico. And that was an absolute real fight. And one of my good friends from Getty ended up with a big smash across his nose from a TV camera. But that's very rare. Normally, we all work very well together. There are a couple of people, though, who just have no manners and carry on and scream and shout, and it's just unbelievable. But in general, no one gets too worried if they miss a shot. Yeah, they miss a shot. We get thousands of shots a weekend.
Do you get understanding of the money that's involved in this sport? It's one of the richest sports in the world. Incredible amount of money that goes into sponsorship and partnerships and in general at each event. Do you get to experience that side of things, and can you get a real gauge and give our listeners an idea of what that feels like?
Yeah, two things come to mind straight away are the parties I get to attend, put on by teams, and they are fantastic. And the other thing is that, I'll give you an example. There's spy photography. I don't know whether you know anything about that, but I was unaware of it before I started. But there are certain photographers, and their job is to go out and take photos of different parts of the car and send that back to their team clients, because every team wants to know what the other team's got. Yeah. But then there's one guy, and his job is to go out on a corner during the race and maybe through quali, I don't know about that, but certainly during the race. And he plugs his camera into a cable, and he can't move from that spot. And his job is to shoot at an 8,000th of a second so that he never misses anything. It's all sharp. And every lap he takes photos of every car. Within a second, that picture is beamed back to his client wherever their headquarters is. Now, if there's a car on fire just around the corner and he could run there, he can't. He has to stay where he is, connected to his camera, because that is his role.
Right.
And he gets paid to do that for the team, and I believe it pays pretty well. It needed to, because it's not my idea of fun.
So this is just to get an idea of parts and positions of parts and things like that.
Well, for that, it's tyre degradation during the race.
Right.
So they just look at every photo and go, oh, he's got a bit of a nick on his tyre. He's going to be in trouble.
Who throws the biggest parties? You said that clients are throwing parties. Tell us who the best ones are.
The ones at the top of the paddock normally.
Okay.
So your Red Bull, Mercedes. But look, it doesn't stop Williams throwing on a great show either.
I was going to say, I thought maybe like Williams might be, they don't have maybe not as much money as Mercedes, but maybe they know how to party.
Well, there is a lot of money floating around. It is bizarre to see like these motorhomes that the drivers get dressed in, and also in Europe where they have their hospitality, are quite spectacular. And the catering, the best catering is Mercedes. They have a brilliant buffet. This is in a normal year, not last year or this year. Ferrari's always good. Red Bull, when they have their big suite, is fantastic upstairs. It's better than any paddock club corporate-y thing, except they don't tend to serve a lot of alcohol, obviously, because it's in the paddock. But yeah, you see the money and you see the seriousness that, if a team can jump one position, it's tens of millions of dollars in prize money. So it's worth them spending the money to get shots of tyre degradation and parts on cars.
What about the difference between being in the sort of area of like the Haas team compared to then Mercedes? Like just viewing it, can you see how much of a difference in terms of finances and resources between those two teams?
Well, see, someone like Haas, they have Stuart Morrison is their PR guy. He handles the PR for the team, for Mick, and for Nikita. And he has to do the whole lot because he's down that end of the paddock. Whereas you go to Ferrari, they have a team PR person, Charles has his PR person, and Carlos has his PR person. So there's 3 PR people because they obviously have more money, they have a greater audience that's interested. And you'll also find that with those teams down the bottom end of the paddock, they get very little TV in terms of networks setting up in the paddock, because everyone wants to be around the top 3 teams. No one goes down the far end. And that's evident in my photos. You get lots from the top 3 or 4 teams and very little from that far end, because you're going to give up shots of the main players to go and get shots of second tier drivers down that end.
You got to look after the role players, Kym. I'm sorry, but you got to get some photos of some of these role-playing drivers.
I get some, but I don't get a lot.
That's good.
What about your footy interests, Kym? Being a WA person, are you happy to give away who you go for? Are you keeping track of games while you're out traveling?
No, I have no idea. I have no care. I sponsored the Eagles for 20 years, so I would be interested if the Eagles were playing. But yeah, I did actually have a chat with Daniel about the footy at the Sochi race on the Saturday. We talked briefly out the front of the paddock because we're not allowed in, and we talked about who he was going for, and I mentioned that in one of my posts. But no, I don't really care about footy. In fact, I don't care about any other sport. People say, "Oh, what other sport would you like to photograph?" And I go, "Oh, nothing. This is 23 races in a year. It's a crazy amount of travel. Like last year, I did 25 countries. I had 43 different hotels, Airbnbs, and a boat. It was just a crazy year to be getting around. 50 odd PCR tests. Didn't get COVID, not once. Missed 2 flights that were cancelled when I got to the airport. But apart from that, I think I had pretty good luck."
What sort of, there'd be a lot of people listening that have just tuned into the F1 this year. I mean, I'm one that's followed F1 for a while, but never really understood it until I really got into the Netflix series, which you mentioned at the start here. But they don't get the, I guess, access that you would. What sort of insights and access do you get that everyone else doesn't get? It's like, what sort of things do you get to see that we just wouldn't? Like, other than, I know photographing the race and being close to the cars, but in terms of driver interaction and team interaction, what sort of stuff are you seeing that isn't going to be covered by Netflix or anyone else?
Okay, well, on the grid, I can stand next to Mick Schumacher talking to his engineer, and I can hear Mick say this and that, and I can hear Lando say that and that, and I go, that's interesting. You're not hearing that. You're not seeing that. I see Carlos grab a towel and wrap it around Lando's head and pull him away from a media interview because Carlos wants to do his interview. You're not seeing that unless you happen to be watching the video that particular TV network was shooting at the time. It's phenomenal, the stuff that I see and hear. And when I talk to drivers, some of them tell me stuff, and the ones I know reasonably well, I'm more than happy to talk about different stuff. And I think, wow, if I was a real shit, I could actually go and print some of that stuff, but I don't because it's not worth it. You have to see these guys next week, and my shtick is not. Everything I print is positive, and in all my Instagram posts, and sometimes during like on a typical Friday or Saturday, I might post 15 different Instagram posts. None of them are negative because it's just not worth putting anyone offside because the access I get is fantastic. And these guys will tell me stuff and they'll pose for me. And I'll give you one example. If you're a local photographer and you would go along to an F1 race because you are from the local newspaper, no driver is going to look at you. They're just not going to look at you. Whereas with me, if the drivers that I know well, I'll get the smile. I'll get some sort of recognition. And my photos are always, well, not always, often better because they're looking straight down the lens of that camera. They're not for the locals.
Who's in the zone more than anyone else? You see these races, they're athletes, even though some people might think driving cars not a athletic thing to do. It's an incredibly physical sport. Who do you think is in the zone more than any other of these drivers? Is it the obvious one?
Well, Max is only there to race. He does not care about the PR side. He doesn't smile at anyone. He's a tremendous fella, and I love talking to him. He's very relaxed and cool, but he's not there to entertain the media. He's there to do the racing. Lewis this year has been great with his fashion on the Thursday, and he's using the media to highlight his love of fashion. But once again, he's pretty serious. He doesn't smile at anyone else. In fact, he keeps looks for the cameras to only his cameraman. He will not look at anyone else. In fact, if there's 20 cameramen right ahead, video and stills, he'll look away, always. Well, yeah, most of the time. He's quite unreal when it comes to that. He's very clever with looking after his image. Whereas some of the younger guys, like the new guys in the sport, Yuki and Nikita, they're great. They'll smile and they're just loving the whole thing. They're not at that stage where they're jaded. They're not having to worry about, I can only think about racing the car because I'm that close to a championship.
And they're maybe not there to win either, really. Realistically, they're not there, and winning's not everything for them because realistically, they're probably not going to win, are they?
No, Nikita, Mick Schumacher can't win. Mick's very focused, but yeah, he's never going to win a race in that car unless there's...
How do you feel about that part of the sport? It's not exactly an equalised sport where everyone rocks up with the same chance to win every week because it's just not. Is that just part and parcel of what F1 is, or I guess, how do you feel about that?
I laugh when people say, "Oh, that bloke deserves a seat." Well, no one deserves a seat. This is a fun venture where people decide, "Hey, let's go put some money together and build a team." It's not for the team to say, "Oh, we have to be fair and should only spend this much money." It is a money sport, and I don't think just because it's governed by Formula One that everyone has to that everyone should stop spending money. It's always going to be the case that those with more money are going to have a better car in general.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And what about this final race this year? If anyone wasn't an F1 fan, they probably saw the last race of the year. It came down to Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen. One race wins it.
One lap, essentially.
One lap in the end. Look, it's somewhat controversial, and I've got my own views about it, but I'd like to hear someone who's been there and done that for the last 5 or 6 years, right in amongst it. Your thoughts on, well, that race and the champion in the end, and how you felt about that whole process.
The thing with photographing is that when we're out on track, oftentimes we have no idea what's going on. If we've got the headphones in and I'm listening to BBC's Live at 5 Live, then I get a good idea. But sometimes the internet's so bad that we can't get any coverage. But luckily, I did actually hear a fair bit of what was going on at that race, and I could see it on the screens. But you know what? It wasn't until 10 days afterwards that I really sat down and had a look and worked out why people were angry. And I realised it was because of that decision to let the cars pass and put Max right on his back. But I understand that Lewis's fans and Lewis's team would be suitably angry about the whole thing. Max was lucky perhaps in that instance, but Max has been unlucky at other times, and Lewis has been lucky. So it's the rub of the green, and doesn't bother me too much. I don't really care who wins. I just want to see a close race. And all the time leading up to that last race, people say, "Who do you go for?" So I want whoever's behind to catch up and not get too far in front. So that's what I want. I want to come down to the last race, and then to have it come down to the last lap was just a dream for the F1's market.
Apparently, they have an end-of-year dinner ball. You'd probably know, Kym.
Yep. Gala Awards.
Mercedes didn't go. They just didn't rock up.
Yeah, no, they're thinking about ways of penalising Lewis, I believe, for not going to that.
Is that right? They just didn't come?
Yeah, you can't not go. It's like go to the Brownlow medal.
I think Valtteri was there. I think Valtteri Bottas went, but Lewis was the big one that didn't show. Speaking of the Mercedes team, have you had much interaction with Toto?
Yeah.
mean, the TV I think likes to make him out to be like this crazy sort of almost villain. But what's he like when sort of the cameras aren't rolling on him?
Well, look, I had very little to do with Toto until Mexico, and I took a photo of him going into because it was the second race. We were back in the paddock, and it was I took a photo of him going into the hospitality suite, and then his PA came out and said, "Oh, do you have a few minutes in 30 minutes? Toto would like to have a chat with you." And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to."
Awesome.
So I thought, this is interesting, and I went back, came back in 30 minutes, and we had a chat for probably 5 or 6 minutes. Now, that's a long chat in Formula One.
Right.
Especially during a busy race weekend and a man like him. And we talked about a couple of things. I won't say what, but I'd not had anything to do with him prior to that. And I thought, well, he's a pretty cool guy. And you might have seen it. I don't know whether you saw this photo of mine, but Abu Dhabi, Friday, they have a press conference with the team principals. And on the Thursday, they had the drivers, and Max and Lewis were teamed together, which was fantastic. And then on the Friday, they had Toto and Christian together. And our media centre is just stone's throw from the press conference room. So I thought I'll wait until they come out and I'll go out and get a shot. And I was the only photographer to get a shot of them coming out. And I thought they'd come out separately and be quite standoffish. Well, they came out together, chatting amiably. And there's quite a height difference. And in fact, I put a picture up on my Instagram account today, which is one of my 10 most notable pictures of the year. And it turns out that they buried the hatchet in that particular press conference. And I had no idea because I wasn't listening to it. We didn't get the audio in the press room. But, that was a remarkable thing to see those two who'd been just at each other's throats for so many weeks walk out pally.
I kind of feel like that's like being a coach in the AFL. Yes, it's at a bigger standard. Yes, it's a global nature. But these guys, there's only 10 principals, right? There's only So how many teams?
Yeah.
Like there's 10 team principals in the world at F1. There's only 10 people that are actually doing this job. So I sometimes watch and see the carry on and see the back and forth and think to myself, yes, it's true, they're competitors, but they would have a deep connection because there just wouldn't be too many people on this earth that understand what they go through.
And from time to time, they have to get on the same side of the table for things that benefit both of them. They would work together and have a reasonable relationship, but I guess just over that period of weeks, it became more friction, and then someone would say something and the other one would retaliate. But yeah, it's just people, and if you're in front of the cameras and you're sort of implored to sort it out and shake hands, you look like a bit of a cock if you don't do it. That's what I reckon. And they'd be acutely aware of the PR involved in that.
My theory on it all is that they sort of chat on the phone afterwards and they have a laugh and they just sort of, they know that they're building this big show for everyone. And it only builds more interest in the sport. Like they'd be very clever to know when not to say things, because it would make, definitely more interest in the sport.
Where to next, mate? Are you going to keep doing this for 5 or 10 years, or are you going to wrap things up? What are you thinking?
Don't know. I'm going next year. I think it'll be much like this year. We have to wear masks at every race. We'll have to do PCR tests pre and post. We'll have to keep our bubbles. I just can't see it getting back to normal anytime soon. But that's got its pluses too. That stops a lot of other people who might be competing with me getting to the track, certainly for the harder races and the ones like Saudi and Russia. Those races are sort of shunned by a lot of the F1 photographers. So that helps me.
Okay, good.
I'll keep going as long as I can. As long as I enjoy it, I'll keep doing it. I don't need to do it. I'm not doing it.
We do a little segment on here. I'm sure you've heard about it, Kym. I'm sure this is the exact reason you're on this show with us. It's called Social Media. Yes, that's right. Will Schofield with Social Media. We get the fans and we get people to interact with us and ask you the questions. We get a good chunk of time to speak with you, but we love to make this a bit of an interactive session. So I'm sure you've been waiting the entire interview to start this, but are you ready for Social Media, mate?
I'm interested to see what they ask. The questions I always get are, what's your favourite track? How can I become an F1 photographer? And who's your favourite driver? They're the three.
All right. Well, we'll see if we can get something different for you. I'm not sure if anything's come in recently at all.
I'll have a look. Why don't you read the first one and I'll have a look if any new.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Social Media. Here we go. Kym Illman edition. Beck Biscuit 97, no underscore, disappointing, but I will ask the question anyway. Are there any drivers that will straight up ignore you in the paddock?
Well, Lewis will. He's not rude. He's just careful with his image. Kimmy, the same. He
seems angry.
He doesn't go out. No, he just doesn't go out of his way. Yep. And there's nothing rude about any of these guys. They don't abuse you. They just understand. And like Lewis, as I mentioned, sometimes will use the media, use us to get his message across, which we're more than happy to do. But there's no one that's rude or obnoxious.
What about Kimmy? I mean, he comes to mind of a person who's a bit ice cold. I mean, they call him the Iceman. Does he give you much?
No, nothing. He gives me nothing. He gives no one anything, really. He's so disinterested in all of that side of things. He and Max just want to race. But Max is obviously a bit more open than Kimmy. Kimmy just doesn't care, and I think that's what people love about him.
All right, this one's from All Good Sometimes, regular contributor on Social Media. How did COVID affect your ability to work and get the shots you wanted?
No paddock shots for 2/3 of the season, but that did mean that I was spending more time near the car park, so I started doing what the drivers drove to the track. So these are I've got 170,000 YouTube followers now, and that provides me with a great audience to do things like what drivers drove to the track. That's one of my amazing videos every single race. People want to know, what did Valtteri drive? Well, he drove an AMG GT. Oh, okay. And he drove a scooter. So they're two things that changed rather than a normal year as opposed to a normal year.
This person says 40s. He says, ever considered doing guerrilla-style advertising at any of the circuits, a la messages on hold at Subiaco Oval?
I get away with one. Once I would get away with it, and then I would never go back again. So perhaps I leave that for my very last race. But
Yeah, you're going to be like the goal umpire that did the thumbs up.
Oh, yeah, the thumbs up.
These ones. You're going to give that one on the way out. All right, when we see that, you've heard it here first. When you see Kym Illman in a messages on hold shirt standing on top of one of the barriers at Monza, we know that's the last race you'll ever do. All right, what about this one? This one may be a bit of a different one. Like, well, you did say, how do I become an F1 photographer? But Liv_Floro asks, what jobs did you have that led up to your photography?
Well, I run a company called Messages on Hold. I've worked on radio. No, I should not be photographing Formula One. I had no.
What made you pick up the camera then in the first place?
I've got a beautiful house in Lancelin we built 11 years ago, and when I started going up there every weekend, in fact, I have not spent a weekend in Perth in the last 11 years, except for this 2 weekends I've been locked in this joint in quarantine. But I would photograph what's happening around Lano, and I then put together the lancelin.com.au website and started promoting it on Facebook. And I got this love of photographing landscapes and stuff, and that sort of led me to this. But that's not the normal career path of an F1 photographer.
What is? What is?
Well, I think you've got to do motorsport for 20 years and then know someone. But look, there are no jobs. There are no photographer wanted, apply here, pays 50 grand here. That's not a thing.
That's what I was going to ask. Right, so you think that you lucked into being a photographer in the F1 a little bit, where your timing did a little bit.
Yep.
Right at this moment, knowing what you know, if there was something else of that ilk where someone could apply or pay a bit of money and then turn it into a career, where would you direct them? Would it be... Is there someone that carries drinks around, perhaps, that they could get them to every paddock? Or is there someone that's mopping up the floors? Is there someone that, Velcros the padding on the inside of the metal barriers? I don't know. Is there something that you're like, anyone could do that? If they were smart enough to apply, you could follow the F1 around for the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah. Look, you could get a job with the team, but you've got to be based in Europe. There's no one from Australia gets a job based out of here. You can get a job at a circuit, but that's only for one race. But then again, I've got some lovely friends from England who work for Formula One, and they go to not all the races because it was a big travel schedule, and a lot of them go to say half and they share it with someone else, and they might do podium ceremonies, and that's their job to make sure that goes off well. Look, there's lots of jobs in Formula One, but I couldn't tell you how to get one.
I think aren't the stewards volunteers?
Stewards?
Yeah, sorry, not the stewards. The cleanup guys, the marshals. Sorry, the marshals.
Some are, some aren't. Like, for instance, there's at races we have shuttle buses that run us around the track, photographers. Now they're actually paid, and I would have thought they would have been volunteers just to get because they drive next to the car. Sometimes they're driving nearly at the same speed as a car along the side of the track. But no, they are paid, and that absolutely threw me.
We've got a couple more before we get there. When there's a big incident like that, I'm not going to know names here, but there was a huge crash a couple of years ago.
Grosjean.
Yeah, Grosjean. He walked out of it, flame ball, that sort of stuff. When there's a huge incident at a racetrack and either you're not in the vicinity or you are near the vicinity, what's that like from a photographer's point of view and being involved on the ground level?
Well, if there's a prang around the corner, you pick up two cameras and you run.
Yeah.
If you can't see it with a long lens, you pick up two cameras and run, and your heart beats fast because and I'll give you an example of Monza this year when Max ended up on top of Lewis. I was at that corner. Unfortunately, I was following another car around, and that had gone past me, and I moved back to start looking for another car. I thought, oh my God, they're on top of each other. So I take a couple of shots from where I am, but it's not a great angle. So I just take one. I think I took one. No, maybe two cameras. And I just raced probably 60, 70 meters and got shots of Max coming out of the car. But yeah, your heart beats fast. But typically you will take shots very quickly of something and know that you've got a shot before you reposition to get a better one. You don't run to get something better and then you miss out and then you get nothing.
You turn into a runner instead of a photographer.
This one's from Short for Decker. Most unexpected aspect of your job?
There you go. Nice question, Short for Decker.
Well, look, it was all unexpected when I started. because I was
Just being there.
clueless as to how it all worked. And each week goes by, you learn something new and you become a bit more switched on. I can't think of anything that's unexpected.
Okay.
There you go.
Everything. What about now? Is this a thing that you don't give away your favourite driver? You said that that's something you get asked all the time. Is this a thing that you play with, Kym?
Yeah.
I did watch a video in anticipation of having a chat with you, and it suspiciously,
the best one.
yes, it's suspiciously cut out when you were mentioning your favourite driver. Is this something that you do? You don't mention who your favourite driver is?
Yeah, because I work with a few of them, and you don't want them getting wind. Oh, you're not his favourite driver, so that doesn't do you any good. And I remember doing my one of my most popular videos, which had more than 1 million views on YouTube, is wives and girlfriends. This year's one or the other. They all had about 1 million views the last 3 years, and one of them I said, "I'll tell you my favourite girlfriend, whatever." And I did the same thing where I alluded to it, and then the thing drops out. Oh, people get very angry that you said you were going to tell us, and then you don't. But no, there's no point in that either.
Okay, Kym. Well, you've got your forum right here, and you're going to tell the BackChat community your favourite driver.
Okay, I will tell you. It's Nico Hulkenberg, and he's not driving at the moment. Nico and I had the loveliest relationship. He would always look at me. And it came about because I think after a period of time, you see people every week, and he obviously grew comfortable with me, and occasionally we'd chat. And then I was in Moscow, and I saw he'd put up a post of him, I'm in Red Square sort of thing. So I sent him a note, and I said, oh, why don't we have dinner? And I thought nothing of it. That was about 4 o'clock, and then I decided to have an early night. So at 7:30, I'm in bed just watching stuff on television, and I get this message, yeah, okay, 8 o'clock at the Ritz-Carlton. I go, yeah, no worries. I'll get up and get dressed.
Yeah.
I race in there. It was a very funny evening, very funny. And then after that, I got on better with him and better, and we'd chat more and have a drink occasionally. And then I got on famously with his now wife. But you would never ever catch him and his girlfriend together. They would come in together, but she'd be 5 meters, 3 meters away, and he would never walk with her. And he was a real bugger with that. Until the last race in Abu Dhabi in 2019, and he walked with his girlfriend, sort of separated until he got to the 20 or so photographers. And then when he got past them, I walked further down because I thought, often I'll do that. I'll walk the whole length because you get a better shot. And then they came together and he held hands and he was smiling at her for me. And I thought, well, that's lovely. And then at the end of the race, I actually shot him coming out of the FIA garage, which no photographers do because they're all out getting the glamour shot of the top three. And I get him and her having a kiss and a cuddle. It was a really lovely moment. So, yeah, I get on very well with him. And, yeah, he is my favourite driver to shoot, but he's not a driver this year.
There you go. You've heard it here first.
That's pretty good. He must have been stoked then when he got the call up last year. He had one race last year, I think. Is that right? Someone got COVID, I think, and he drove for Racing Point.
Yeah. And he did all right, didn't he, in quali?
Yeah. Everyone thought, oh, man, he's going to come in and get a podium or something.
He's a tremendous fella. He's a real character, and he would do silly faces for me too, which I love.
Kym, you're a good man. We appreciate the time you've given us. We realise this is day 14 in quarantine, so hopefully in turn we've helped you burn another hour of time of sitting around in that hotel room. Can you give our listeners and our watchers on the YouTube channel a bit of a view out the window and what you've got painted up on the window for us?
Yeah, this is toilet paper there. Is it going to go around there? I don't want to cut the internet connection.
No, it's right. It looks like a 41, but I assume you've done that so it looks like 14 on the outside.
Yeah, because I know what it says, but the people outside need to know what it says.
Oh, that's very good. So
the rest of the room is a complete mess, and I'll be very keen when I get my call, which I expect any minute now, saying, right, your checkout time is whatever. And my wife's done 2 weeks in quarantine. She came over to Europe earlier in the year to help out with some of the workload I had, and she would never go back and do it again. But I haven't found it too bad. The food's been okay. It's been pretty good. In fact, I did a live stream the other day on YouTube, and it was a 12-hour live stream. I talked for 12 hours in a row.
Mate, we were actually talking about doing this exact same thing. How was it?
You know what? It went really quickly. And that was great because that's half a day in quarantine where I'm actually earning some money, which was great.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you're going to do when you get out?
you'll be able to see it because I'm doing a video called Family Reunion, and it talks about my time in here. But it'll be my wife and kids will come and go and see my dog, drop my stuff up at home, and then we'll go and have dinner somewhere. I don't know where. Then I'll be back to Lancelin to enjoy my beautiful beachfront house, which I've really missed this year because I've lived out of a suitcase for 300 days by the time I get out here. I haven't been back to Perth since I left on March the 4th.
Well, mate, enjoy. Thank you for spending some time with us. I know our listeners will have enjoyed it and our watchers, and maybe you can let us tag along as a couple of maybe your baggage handlers for a couple of races at some point in time.
How many people do you reckon want to do that job?
Yeah, but, how many people are as good looking as Dan and I?
Yep.
Well, if you get accredited by F1, you come and see me by all means.
All right.
You won't get
Melbourne.
accredited.
right.
Melbourne next year.
I'll see you
We'll be
there.
there with
I'm giving Dan a call. I'm giving Dan Ricardo a call. I'm going to sort this out. Thanks very much, Kym. You're a good man.
Cheers.
There we go. Kym Illman, just traveling around the world,
He's the
taking
man.
photos of F1 cars.
Here's the man. We
Pretty
loved
good.
it.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed it, you can find us on YouTube.
Yep.
Get on there, subscribe. We've got a little system now. We're starting to drop things daily. So if you haven't been jumping on for the full episode, we just strip you out
Little bits and
some of
pieces.
the highlights. We're on TikTok now.
Yep.
We're all over at Reddit. We're
Yep.
just weird things happen over there. You can find all of this on our website, backchatpodcast.com.au. YouTube, you just look after BackChat Podcast. Instagram, Twitter. We're kind of changing things up. Like we said, we're going to go live show. We were cut off earlier on when we were talking to Liv. We're going live show. We're going to do a live show from about 3 weeks' time. You can follow us live on YouTube. Take it how you usually get it on YouTube, or you can listen as an audio podcast. It's been fun. Dan's 5 for 14 at wherever the hell he's done that. Is getting retired. We're retiring it. Tip a little liquor out for it. Scotty Boland's put him in the bin. 6 for 7.
It's good while it lasted, though,
Yeah. See you next week.